Hello, and welcome, my Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your timeless Path of True Love read. I am your reader, Mark Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Production since 1998, author of Words of Grace from a professional witch, the Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hi, my archers, my centaurs, my kentors. So very happy to be doing these reads. If you are new to my channel and these readings, I did a video, a preface to the Timeless True Love reads, if you would like to get a little bit deeper into what these are actually about. But Reader's Digest version, Cliff Notes version, the Path of True Love is your spiritual path, your spiritual journey, your healing journey, your hero's journey through the lenses of your relationship so that you become the true love that in truth you already are, right? The alchemy of the ego, the healing of the personality, the embodiment of the soul, the living as the higher self, however you want to call that journey through your spiritual definitions. This is a GPS POV, right? Going up into the 8th chakra to look down, and so that you can see what choices you have on the path itself. We're doing a basic Celtic Cross, but with 2 tarot decks at once. So instead of 10 cards, it's 20, starting with 2 Caroline Mace archetype cards, making that 22, 2 oracles, and a healing mantra, a card at the end, making it a 25 card spread. If you would like to go deeper into whatever you are seeing here, I am certainly available for private readings, and there's even a video about that in the description box, booking a reading with Mal. Check it out. I love doing that video. It like simplifies it all so much. I don't have to keep saying it over and over and over every single video. That being said, it is a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. These are not always romantic, sexual. Sometimes they're parental. But really, I've been seeing that they're so open to interpretation as a general read, yet have some pretty clear specifics in it. So do check your other signs. Like, so if this one isn't the one that you're most concerned about, you might be getting another type of relationship, another person crossing your path. And as you heal one, you heal all of them. That's the holographic nature of the Path of True Love. Just take the journey, and whoever crosses your path, there's your next chapter, so to speak. And you can have several chapters going at once. That being said, both feet on the floor. If you can, focus on your breath, if you will. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace I can from my pantheons of divine through these decks of cards at the bottom of the description box if you want to look into the decks I use. Yeah, so that you can fulfill your role in the divine plan by walking the path of true love. And as you heal, so do we all heal through unity and the healing of the heart. Cool? All right, I guess that's about it. Please take a nice deep breath. And if I forgot anything else, they'll remind me. Here we go. As I'm using the Caroline Mace deck here, our first 2 cards down, I call upon the collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of the path of true love, the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, and the divine animals, the totems and the spirit animals. For the Sagittarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, we're going to put them on this side, whoever's crossing their path on that side, but it may flip-flop for cross-watchers, or maybe even for the Sagittarian. They have to really feel this one out. So what is the dominant 8th chakra archetype affecting all the chakras underneath it, right? The lesson, the program, the power that they are alchemizing from lead to gold, shadow to light, toxic to healthy, on the path of true love, becoming more true love than false love, more love than fear. At the time of they're watching this, that's for our Sagittarian and for whoever is crossing their path. Now, these are already in the title, right? I don't clickbait. So let's see how brave y'all are. Well, 2 child archetypes. Wow, that's never happened before. Not that I can consciously remember. The child archetype in general is a survival family archetype. Of the 9 families, it is the first family that you learn about in Carolyn Mace's work, Sacred Contracts. The child, the victim, the saboteur, and the prostitute. Those four make the survival family, and everybody has them. Nations have them. Corporations have them. They are the trunk of the archetypal tree that, when balanced and healthy, all the other branches, all the other archetypes, the hedonist, the healer, the artist, all of that, the king, the queen, the knight, all of that obviously can be healthy, because this is how we learn how to survive, the power of survival. And I have to tell you, the orphan child and the wounded child together, there is a massive opportunity for healing here on the path of true love, because regardless of the sub-pattern, there's the orphan, the wounded, the magical child, the divine child, the nature child, and on and on and on. Regardless of those sub-patterns, sub-archetypes, if you want to call them that, it is the guardian of innocence and safety. So keep this in mind, the spectrum from childlike to childish, right? Dalai Lama, Pee Wee Herman. Those from toxic to healthy, right? But these are really specific archetypes. The orphan child. I have the orphan child and the wounded child. You can have more than one. Rotate in and out, but these are lifelong. The archetypes, you can have them for a reason, season, or lifetime. The four survival archetypes are lifetime. The shadow attribute of the orphan, feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation. It's shadow work, shadow work, shadow work. Where, right, soul retrieval. Where has your abandoned orphan child left chunks of the soul back in the path to be retrieved? Seeking an appropriate surrogate families. I hung out with a bunch of people in Boston when I went to the Boston Conservatory, and we ended up calling ourselves the Bakery, and we weren't making cookies. I'm still in touch with a bunch of them, some dear friends there. But the light attribute, independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering the fear of surviving, right? Every major hero in our fiction, right? Ancient mythological as well as current day superhero and all of that. Not all of them are orphans, but the majority of them are. How far you want to go back. Okay, you want to talk Dorothy Gale, orphan. Harry Potter, orphan. Kal-El of Krypton, orphan. Bruce Wayne, orphan. Peter Parker, orphan. It's like once you start looking, you're like, oh, they're everywhere. And they all walk a very similar path of the hero's journey. So, amazing. I have the orphan archetype, even though you don't have to be literally orphaned to be that. Yeah, I'm the only gay witch in my family, I think, ever. So sticking out like a sore thumb. Now, who's crossing your path? And again, you might have this in you too. The wounded child archetype. The shadow attribute blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds. In other words, an avoidance of healing those wounds through blame. And that's the problem with blame. It places the power to heal outside of you where you can't do anything about it. Resists moving on through forgiveness. Well, and I'll give some credence to that. The type of forgiveness we are raised with is based on Newtonian physics and doesn't really heal anything. It's saying that subject and object are not interrelated. That's not true. Unity, the more quantum version of it, is anytime you forgive anything within yourself or somebody else, you're healing it, not just for yourself and the other person, but for all of it. So I'll give credence to that. If you were raised with the idea that forgiveness means it's okay that you did that, that's not what it means. Not true quantum forgiveness. Real true quantum forgiveness from the point of view of the higher self is that this was all scripted before you ever incarnated. And it's about allowing love to make that choice of love, to understand that we all get possessed by shadow and we all do shit we don't mean in the moment, even when we're possessed by shadow afterwards. There's healing there, right? Nobody did anything. What is it? Hurt people. We're all healing our pain, right? And the innocence of a child can see that, but I don't read for kids. So let's build on this. Let's get our Celtic Cross on the table. I'm in. Very, very interesting thing. I don't think I've ever seen two child archetypes come up in any kind of soul contract reading before. I've seen two survival archetypes together, but not two child. So let's see. Breathe. as I call upon my goddesses of fire, direction of the south, and the powers of the sign of Sagittarius, 9th house vibration. Please, 10 cards face down. Heart, throat, third eye, crown, yin dynamic, the internal stuff, the world behind their eyes, spiritual power, mental power, willpower, and emotional power. For the Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, dealing with an orphan child and a wounded child. We're just going to say that this is the Sag, the orphan child, although that can flip-flop for them. Trickier, because everybody has the orphan archetype. They may be able to, by percentage, understand each other, depending on what is dominant in each at this moment. So please, what's going on for that? The orphan child, heart, throat, third eye, crown. What's going on for the wounded child, heart, throat, third eye, crown. Let's leave that one in my hand. Thank you. What is at the core, perhaps the subconscious content, what they might not be aware of unless they're really intuitive and very aware of what their guidance is at their core. How about what's behind them on the path of true love, the Sagittarian in particular, whichever one they may be in that. What crowns it, hovering, sort of like in the air, but it will take an act of free will, willpower to take that in or not for them. What's crowning this? How about, it can also be how they choose to see what's going to go down anyway in the crown. What is before them, just around the bend on the path of true love. After dealing with that crowning card, that's the cross. Let's do the staff. What is their lesson, the universal learning template, what the gods and the angels are trying to teach them on the path. From the outside looking in, how the world views, kind of feels, kind of gets that horizontal vibe. Heart, throat, third eye, crown. For the Sages, their destiny, where they are on the hero's journey aspect, alchemizing fate into destiny, led into gold, where they are on the hero's journey, on the path of true love. Heart, throat, third eye, crown. Big alchemy going on there. I can feel that. And last card of these 10. What is the most probable outcome considering this timeline of this lifetime concerning this orphan child and this wounded child archetype, their paths crossing on the path of true love for the Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading? Please leave the card in my hand. Good enough. All right, let's see. We got the orphan child with the coyote, the trickster. Be very, very careful of self-sabotage. Lies, illusions, deceptions, delusions. Daughters of the Moon is a matriarchal-based deck, feminist deck, so it doesn't use a lot of patriarchal imagery. This is half of the devil card. The other one is oppression, more like the chains around the neck. This is not that. This is about the fears that control you. This is about shadow work. A coyote woman, Native American, indigenous American, the terms are shifting so quickly. I want to say the right one. I might not have gotten that exactly right. But it is very much the trickster that we're often tricked into our spiritual lessons. You may not be seeing things so clearly, and be careful of your decisions. Now, choices and decisions, there's a difference. A choice has a consequence, a decision, the consequence is life-changing. So you might want to check yourself, do a little shadow work, look at what that orphan child in you is feeling, because if it's ranting and raging as a result of feeling abandoned, orphaned in some way, then the childish is driving the show. Where really here, independence based on letting go, going it alone, very important. And then with this wounded child here, I didn't read the light attribute of this one. I'm sorry. I got off talking about forgiveness. I do that. We've got the Aries card. Now, this person may have Aries energy, but this is really about the self, first house, right? The personality, the ego. This might very well be a wounded child who is either being selfish, self-healing, selfless, as we saw, blaming things on childhood wounds in the shadow. Here's the light, awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children opens the learning path of forgiveness, because a child, children usually forgive automatically, right? Because until they're conditioned by the world, right? Because they're so in the present moment, so attached, I guess, still connected to the infinite now, as babies will be. But this is an adult we're dealing with. So starting again or beginning the learning path of forgiveness, right? How to do that in the healthiest way possible. That could be on the table here. Now, it could also be that with that trickster archetype inside of you, that you are aware of some lies, illusions, deceptions, delusions going on in this, and making your choices and decisions accordingly. Of course, that depends on where you are on that light to shadow spectrum. What's at the core of this? The Emperor and the Hierophant, like I said. Feminist deck, not overtly dealing with masculine symbolism here, but the card of Pan, the face of masculine nature, Lord of the wild things, Lord of the wood. In this case, fuses together the Emperor and the Hierophant, right? Similar, but not quite the same. So there is something here about the masculine energy here between the two of you. Father energy, there could be a connective tissue there of father issues between the two of you, and both of you really on the path of true love, dealing with something about your own masculine energy, how you bring your internal to the external. Not so much the yin taking in, but the yang putting out. There can be a desire here to make something formalized, to make something concretized, to bring it into physical form, as we said, the inner to the outer. But then also with that energy of the Hierophant on there, something that happens gradually in stages, right? Like in a coven, dedicant, first degree, second degree, third degree, elder, whatever, on and on, right? Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, that kind of deal. in a learning thing that either you might be aware of or you're not, but there's definitely a development of masculine power here that you might not be aware of. Ten of Cups in the past does not bode wrong, does not bode ill for you. This is you really finding happiness within yourself. Now we're going to put 10 more cards on top of these, looking at the root, sacrum, solar plexus, what's going on the outside here. But as far as the past goes, either with you as the orphan child, you as the wounded child, or in this relationship, this could be somebody brand new in your life, you're definitely coming from a place of your cup overflowing, like feeling very satisfied, feeling Inanna's house of heaven, the ecstasy card. But Inanna is, read the myth, let me get at least the spelling here, right? Innana, Inanna, and Ereshkigal, very much about the underworld, very much about embracing the shadow and that alchemy that true love does, which is a whole other convo. What's hovering here? Interesting. The Three of Blades. Now, Three of Blades, Three of Swords. Have to talk about it because it's different in this deck than it is in the Rider-Waite. And I still say Pamela Coleman Smith, who designed the deck back in the way backs, she did not draw it where the heart was broken. It's getting to the heart of the matter. A focus. All three swords converge into the heart of the matter. So this can speak of introspection. This can speak about putting your minds together with other people, two or more, right? Kind of, let's get to the heart of the matter. What is at the root of this? So that healing, if that is the intention, can take place there. Now, I'm going to say you got two major arcana cards on the table out of 5, which isn't, a big deal, but we're looking at the Devil and the Emperor here. So there might be things going on here that are unconscious and subconscious, and there is a difference between those two things. There's a borderland between the two. But to really, really make sure that you are dealing in the highest truth that you can find. And what I mean by that is that there's always a higher truth. There's always a higher truth, right? You think you understand, you see it all, and then a year later you see it from a higher place, and it doesn't discount what you saw before, but it's like a child. You don't say to them, well, Darling, age 2, this is how you were conceived, right? Maybe you give them a story, the stork or whatnot, right? When two people really love each other. You know, my mom just gave me a book, which was much better. Give me the technological. I was of age. It was good enough. It was a good time for it. The Teenage Body book. It was a good book. I learned a lot. But that's the thing. There maybe is learning and growth going on here. But I would certainly say father dynamic is in play here, even if you're not dealing with your literal father here. It feels like there's a shared father issue going on here with this emperor, and a desire to control as a child will when it doesn't feel safe. Guardian of safety. Where's this leaded to? Lovely. 3 of Cups. Now going from the 10 of Cups to the 3 of Cups, it feels like you were humming along, singing a song side by side. If you know who this person is, if they're in your life consistently, a sabotage went on here. Does feel like self-sabotage, like that orphan child felt abandoned, might not have been abandoned, but felt abandoned by this wounded child. But then understand, even if that was a literal abandonment, that they were dealing with their own wounds, and perhaps, yes, being selfish, but this can be higher selfish, healing selfish, self-care. Interesting. But with this 3 of Cups, we are seeing a friendship here. We are seeing an emotional bond. The word on the card for 3 of Cups in this deck is bonding, and written in the book is that song from the Girl Scouts, make new friends, keep the old, one is silver, the other gold. So it does feel like, I don't know, necessarily a reconciliation, we'll see, but definitely a better feeling for you, a sense of emotional understanding, and hell yeah, I've done it too, we've all done it. In other words, whatever went on here had very little to do with each of you individually. It's more about your stuff from childhood. Probably father issues, which is tricky if you're dealing with women, right? Because we don't immediately plug that in, right? No. Mother-father dynamic can go back and forth between genders and all different people in your life, right? So you can have a boss who's a female who's teaching you about father issue, and a next door neighbor who's male who's teaching you mother stuff. It's just how it works. When you think the gods can't like play with the script, oh yeah, they can. Your lesson, lovely. The Aquarius card doesn't necessarily mean you're an Aquarius. Maybe you are. Maybe you got some planets in there. But this is really Ixchel, the Eagle woman, also connected to Jaguar medicine. It is about healing and release and relief. But with the Aquarian card here, the water bearer, very much a water element, but Aquarius is a fixed air sign. She's flying on an eagle, seeing from the highest perspective that she can, with a pair of scissors, cleaning out, releasing, making room, but very friendly, right? Aquarius is interaction with the world, its groups, its organizations, friends, family, humanitarian, egalitarian, if you want to go with Eagle Woman on that. So your lesson here is to see this from, again, the highest truth you can find. Now, I feel like you're going to get pieces of that when you focus on and say, okay, what's my lesson here? What am I trying to learn here on the path to true love? I'm going to need to fly really high. I'm going to need to see this from not just the third eye, which can still see illusion, seek only truth, and the third eye means there's another option. The crown chakra, maybe, be here now, live in present time, the sacred truth there of really seeing it from that place, but to pop up into that 8th chakra, to see it from the higher self, the point of view, seeing the larger plan, even if but for a split second. And the innocence of the child archetype can actually see that sometimes. Maybe not translate it so much, but definitely see it. So lovely, a transcendent lesson here. How you vibe in horizontally to others is the 9 of Pentacles, that you're good, you're stable, you've got your own. Whether or not you feel that way or not is another thing. Malama, holding a gourd, breasts full, ready to feed. Definitely maybe more of a mother vibe there. It is a feminist deck. But the 9 of Pentacles, she who has her own. I love the 9s, right? Yeah, maybe not so much the 9 of Swords. But, you know, that thing of a completion within yourself. At least you're vibing that way. Your destiny is the Lover's card. Now, don't immediately make this romantic sexual. This is about deciding for love, not just choosing love, deciding love. Your destiny really, really counts right now on you seeing things through the eyes of love, which forgiveness is required. to do that alchemy from lead to gold, or at least in your place of the orphan here, by getting, this is something that only I can do, right? This is something I have to do to survive, not just physically, but psychologically, spiritually. I have to choose love. And how you do that may seem like a moment by moment by moment choice, and certainly it does. But ultimately, to forgive is the decision that heals, but your version of forgiveness, right? As we have said before, that mileage may vary, right? It depends on, what you were raised with. Is it quantum? The Course in Miracles calls essentially Newtonian forgiveness. Subject and object are not interrelated. Forgiveness to destroy. Well, I forgive you. Right? There's no healing there because you really did it. Where the quantum version of it, holographic, if you like, quantum forgiveness, is seeing that we are souls that came here to play roles, to learn how to forgive, amongst other things. We're all doing our best. So as I forgive you, so am I forgiven. That's how it works. So the lovers, can you make a wise, loving, empowered decision? Very much heart, throat, third eye, crown. Most probable outcome is, here we have the Empress Mawu on the back of an elephant giving birth, the mother of the maiden mother crone triad in this deck. So even though there is great masculine energy here at the core for both of you, it turns out that you are going to really be working in feeling that fertility, that fullness, which is very, like this, I would say Nine of Pentacles is the minor arcana version in process of becoming the Empress. Kind of digging it for you there. 1, 2, counting major arcanas. 3, 4, and not outright. 1, 2, mark, check. 3, 4. 4 out of 10 major arcana cards for a Path of True Love reading, at least for the inside, does make sense. Let's keep going. Let us Mythic Tarot this puppy. This will be the lower 3 chakras, completing the set from 8th chakra down to root, the process of incarnation, right? Taking it from soul contract into physical form, from the outside looking in, from the inside looking out. Only you can know that, and it can be both. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon my gods of fire, the sign of Sagittarius in the direction of the south, please 10 cards. Celtic Cross spread, please clarify. We'll turn them over one at a time. In this Sagittarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign Path of True Love reading, they present here, if this is truly the Sagittarius, they could also be the one on the crossing the path, both with the child archetype. We're going to start with the Sag, though, as the orphan child, with the coyote woman on the inner, and 5 of Pentacles. I'm going to go with feeling left out in the cold. It's very code wordy. I get it. There definitely is a feeling of loss, of abandonment, either you walking away or somebody walking away from you, but being locked out, left out in the cold. But I don't think you're seeing that right. The coyote tricking you there. In that, and for the orphan child, that just makes more sense, right? This person might be whoever this wounded child is. Maybe they were wounded whenever went down what went down here or goes down here, but they're just triggering your sense of abandonment that you haven't faced and dealt with. This is what the Path of True Love is. It's not hearts and roses 24/7. So let's look at this wounded child archetype. Maiden of Flames, the Aries card, the King of Wands there. Calafia, essentially the Amazon Queen of indigenous California before the Europeans touched down. What is the card? Root, sacrum, solar plexus, the yang dynamic, the outside looking in here. For who crosses their path. Ace of Cups. This person is certainly willing. Now that Ace of Cups could also be they're working on their own self-love. Don't know if they're offering it to you. That might be an extended thing. If this is a friendship, it's like, of course. Don't worry about it. We fuck up. We all make mistakes. We're all children. We're all divine children trying to make our way home. What if Godzilla was one of us, right? breathing fire on my home. Let's look. This Emperor. This is definitely about daddy issues. I mean, there's no reason why this couldn't be a parent-child relationship going on here, by the way. Depending on the alchemy of what's been done on both sides here. What's this look like? Root sacrum, solar plexus. The Magician. There wasn't a glitch in the video. There was a deliberate pause there. The Emperor Hierophant with the Magician. We are looking at a massive opportunity, a free will decision to really heal this and become your own fathers. We all understand what mothering ourselves means. What does it mean to father ourselves? Made my little kitty cat noise there. I have to say, this is Hermes at the crossroads, channeling down, bringing together fire, earth, air, water, spirit into chakra alignment if you want to go there. There's huge potential for transformation here, but at least the initial stages of it. The Magician is technically the first card of the Major Arcana. The Fool is 0. It has no number. It's in between the World and the Magician as that infinite void of the now. But this is definitely a decision being made, I think, by both of you of your own free will to bring things, to manifest something here. But with that father dynamic there, it really depends on the scale of childish to childlike for both of you. That 10 of Cups in the past, please, what does that look like? Yeah, no, this was going along at a lovely clip, the 10 of Cups, and then there was an emotional upset. Something was revealed. The 5 of Cups in this deck, as well, all the cups in the Mythic Tarot, is the myth of Eros and Psyche, where it's a long story. It has to do with an oil lamp. She sees his face for the first time, even though they're married, and realizes how beautiful he is, and he didn't want her to see his face yet, because people fall in love with him every single day, because he's Eros, the god of love, right? But as a result, something is revealed. Some cups are knocked over, but not all of them. 4 cups down, 1 cup standing, 1 man enter. 1 witch enter. 2 witch enter, 1 witch leaves. Definitely there is an emotional upset on the outer here, but it feels like you have the opportunity, or you took the opportunity, to do some healing work here there with Inanna's House of Heaven. I do feel like this was going along at a nice clip, and then something got triggered. Something got revealed in some way, shape, or form that shook this sucker up emotionally, which makes sense. The 3 of Blades, there may well be some heartache crowning here that may not have been totally dealt with, because I don't think it's about the 2 of you directly. Not with the orphan and the wounded child. This is definitely childhood stuff, which, what a wonderful way to heal it without having to travel backwards in time, right? So that 3 of Blades, that heart focus, right? Like, get to the heart of the matter. What's that look like? Root sacrum, solar plexus, 9 of Swords, right? One of the 9s I don't like. The 9 of Swords. A crap load of overthinking here. In the external, too much data, too much information, very stormy clouds, the Furies going at it here, vengeful thoughts, painful thoughts. Not just a storm, a clusterfuck of thoughts. Now I'm going to go with the Matt Kahn thing here, particularly when 9 of Swords pops up. When you're thinking too much, incessant, can't stop it. It's because your energy's not in your heart. Now, that's not saying abandon the mind, but certainly draw your focus here. And I kind of get that this wounded child here, with that Aries card within them, is doing that work, right? They are opening their heart to this situation, at least in terms of giving themselves the love that only they can give them. So with that 9 of Swords thing, open your heart. You're a fire sign, but that childlike innocence, right? To kind of say, well, we're all kids and we're all learning, because that 5 of Pentacles, feeling left out, I don't think that's their intention. I think they're healing, honestly. Think. Feel. There's a spectrum there. But it's going to the 3 cups on the inner here. It feels like this is that the emotional bond is still there. Might have been obscured, but it was not obliterated. What's going on here? This could easily be brother-sister. This could easily be a sibling relationship, even if not literally sibling. The Lover's card, you have to make the decision. Your first double whammy. Two lovers cards right next to each other too on the table here. This is the Judgment of Paris. Paris has to give a golden apple to the most beautiful goddess, and those three goddesses in the competition: Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena. Power, love, and wisdom, right? The Hera, or let me do this right now. Athena, Aphrodite, and Hera. Love, wisdom, and power. How to bring those together to make the wisest decision. And this ain't just a choice. This is a decision. The result of his choice started the Trojan War. Though that was not foreseen at the time. So it happens when true love comes in, right? You get the unexpected. Hera offered power. Athena offered wisdom. Aphrodite offered the most beautiful woman in the world as his true love, Helena Troy. Started the war. Because he wasn't, she was married to a king. Long story short. How's that for a mythological Reader's Digest little Cliff Note thumbnail? So the decision looks like it's yours to make, right? Will you make a loving, wise, empowered decision? Well, that would certainly come about moving from the element of air purely into also the element of water here, right? To open your heart and to make the most. And even that, sometimes that wise, loving, powerful decision is not doing this anymore. I love you, bless you, but I'm moving on. That's valid. However, your lesson here really comes about through you seeing it from the highest possible truth. So the ego's point of view probably as toxic as it gets because that's its job, right? The personality might be totally confused at a crossroads with all this kind of stuff. The soul knows the answer is love. It wants to respect, acknowledge, and welcome everything that's going on here. The ego is at war. It worries, anticipates, and regrets every single thing. But the higher self really does see it as, this is how it was scripted before you ever incarnated. Any souls would have had to deal with this situation sooner or later. So, my gods, what does this look like on the outer for them to see it from that highest truth? Your second double whammy, two emperors. This is about you taking control of your own mind, your own desires, your own emotions, and your own form. Ultimate responsibility, and I'm going to say that more now shifts this pan card, not just to Emperor and Hierophant, but more purely, I'm going to say like 75% Emperor, 25% Hierophant for general read, particularly with the Magician, which is the masculine energy forerunner of the Emperor. Zeus. You have truth. Zeus holding lightning, right? Mutable fire. Sagittarius, lightning, truth. Light is truth. I feel like you have to be very, very careful to make sure that the truth that you have, again, is humanitarian, is friendly. And what does that mean? Heart-centered, not emotional necessarily, but heart-centered, the most wise, loving, powerful thing. You're being taught how to do that, and as you learn that in this situation, you will generalize it to every other relationship in your life, and then there will be pop quizzes, because that's just how it works. You're vibing Malama here, heart, third eye crown, so you do have the wisdom. You've done this before, right? We've all been in relationships before, but it feels like there's a real higher principle at play here. So you have everything you need inside of you to do this, right? So you don't need to, like, you know, you don't have to go eat, pray, love, right? Italy, India, Indonesia, right? Indonesia? Yeah. Her audiobook, it's in her voice. Elizabeth Gilbert, it's really good. But this is saying you've got everything you need. You're not at the 10, but you've got everything you need, or at least your vibe in that. How are you looking third, root sacrum, solar plexus? 3 of Wands. Now, I have to say, the Scorpio reading I just did had this exact same card in this exact same position. So if you have any planets in Scorpio, or dealing with somebody with planets in Scorpio, I wouldn't call this a standoff, but the 3 of Wands is saying that you've made your decision and you're sticking with it, but looking forward, right? Moving forward, a loyalty issue here. Not necessarily to the other person. This can be loyalty to your path, to your healing, to your gods, to your grace, to your higher power. But a willingness to wait and watch and see what happens, to not just make this snap decision, but to make the decision ultimately wise, loving, and powerful. There is a commitment of some kind called for you on the outer. One that I would think, depending on how that orphan child is feeling, varying degrees of commitment, loyalty. But if you put God first, higher power first, then you, then this relationship, I think it will go much wiser, much easier. Simple need not imply easy. Simpler doesn't mean it makes it easy. The Lovers in your destiny position. Big, huge, life-changing decision on the path to true love. It's going to affect every other relationship in your life. What's that looking like on the path? A Six of Cups. This is about the past. You know, it's funny, I do other readings, this card doesn't come up. but Path to True Love reads, whether or not this is someone from your past coming back around or you coming back around to them, it's probably more about healing, emotionally balancing. Sixes are numbers of emotional balance, something from the past, particularly with the shadow work you've got going on in your cover card here, to understand that a lot of what you're going through here is not necessarily about this wounded child. Part of it might be, even if it's 2%, sure, they are culpable, everybody's responsible for the choices and the decisions they make. Feels like they're still offering a cup of love here to you. But because they've offered it to themselves, that that Aries card, the Maiden of Flames there, it is very self-healing, which is like a Virgo thing. Yeah, let's just keep going. I get what the Six of... It's like the ability to balance and bring harmony into your own emotions here is huge, but it comes about you making a really wise, loving, empowered, life-changing decision here, though it may not look like that on the outside, right? And ending with the Empress there, certainly the unconditional love of the Divine Mother in form, all of the Queens amalgamated into one card, ultimately the Divine Feminine card, just one. What is this looking like in their most possible outcome? Two of Pentacles, okay, still finding the balance here, still juggling a little bit. I see more of a kind of getting right with yourself first before you actually do this. This might be a lot of decision making, like we said, a lot of air element that moves definitely into, you got a lot of major arcana cards. As soon as that air stuff resolves itself, it is moving more in the area of emotion and love and healing, because I'm not seeing any air cards once we get past that Nine of Swords in the crown. It feels like your next step here has a lot to do with you opening your heart to help you make a wise, loving, empowered decision to fly above the fray, as it were, into that 8th chakra, see the ultimate power and truth that you have available to you, that you will be able to, like I said, generalize to other relationships, both in the past, resolving them in the present, and certainly what a skill in the future. Done with tarot. Let's get some oracles on the table. The Whispers of Love Oracle, the voices of the higher selves of all involved. Please take a nice deep breath. Oh, I know, it's the only time I shut up. As I call upon the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, please, what is the whisper of love, the piece of information, inspiration, insight needed for both of them, from both of their higher selves, in this Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign? A Path of True Love read. Not an easy one, but really not so much about the present, but in the present, healing the past, so that the past does not replay in the future. It's a really good way to say that. So from both of their higher selves, what is the whisper of love they need on the path of true love? Speak the language of love. Loving words have the power to change someone's life, including your own. And I think with all these swords on here, you're thinking about it, but give it time to make sure you are coming from the innocence of the child of your heart when you communicate. I feel like this, honestly, you know, Aries is the child of the zodiac, the first sign. So it feels like this person is already forgiven, or is in that process at least, has opened the learning path, because even Course in Miracles says all lessons are forgiveness lessons once you remember who you truly are. It's all just scripted drama that we have to play out in order to learn. So to speak the language of love, but I highly recommend doing that to yourself. Talk to the orphan of your heart. If anyone has ever dealt with the orphan Orphan archetype. See, there's such joy in the Orphan archetype, though. Like, I never had to check with my family if it was okay that I was a witch. I just went and learned. I was young. I was reading tarot at age 12, right? Or being gay. I was like, they were going to deal with it one way or the other. It was the 80s. It was a very different time, right? What they thought, in other words, if you don't have the Orphan archetype, you tend to be controlled by tribes. Becky would love to change her hair, but she can't because she has to, check with all the other cheerleaders, right? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Where, Brenda's like, I don't care what you think. It's gone purple. Right? So speak the language of love to that child here. It feels like there's a huge maturation of your soul as a result of this. Really cool, because we're one. We're all one. So the idea of being an orphan is only here on the horizontal plane. So to really get the freedom that you have here with that Orphan archetype, to find your own way of surviving, even spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Divine Animals Oracle, the newest deck to the Drawing the Circle Productions divination team. Let's see who's walking with you. Breathe. Both feet on the floor. This is a different vibe. Pre-verbal. Metaverbal. As I call upon the totems and spirit animals for the Sagittarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, what is the oracle, right? Who is walking with them on the path of true love as guide, as totem, as healing presence in this orphan, wounded child contract going on here for the Sagittarian Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love. Please just leave the right card in my hand. Jaguar. Jaguar. Was just talking about Jaguar, wasn't I? With Ixchel. Ixchel and Jaguar. Jaguar and Ixchel. You got Jaguar in my Ixchel. You got Ixchel in my Jaguar. I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong. Please don't cancel me. I'm doing my best. 53 just turned on Monday. Yeah, I know I don't look at things. Card number 9. I know it is release, right? Release. Yes, the word is release. And it doesn't necessarily mean releasing this person. It can mean about the emotional release here. And look at it. Jaguars are big cats. I mean, lions and tigers and bears. A jaguar, different vibe. The key word here, release. Release what you no longer need. Take action to move something from the ideas world into the physical world. With the Emperor and the Magician on the inner. There is an opportunity to incarnate something here that, yes, you're thinking about, but this can be done wisely and well. You just need to let go of something. You need to release something. Let go of the old and stale and choose renewal. Wash away the negative aspects of the past. Surrender it all and embrace new life. I think that what this is saying is this is what the opportunity is. That the Jaguar spirit is with you, the totem, the spirit animal, whatever you want to call it. Its magic is helping you let go of stuff from childhood in order to manifest something much healthier here. Now, it's not all at once. Even with that Empress in your outcome, it might still be gestating, right? That Two of Pentacles on. This is going to take time, like a child growing, right? And if that child of your heart is crying, you don't shake the child. Hurry up and heal, right? It's like, it's okay, honey, cry. I'm here. I love you. And there's a high element of water with this card. Now, this book gives the mythos behind the Jaguar, which there is a ton of. It's a lot in this book, micro font, as well as the behavior of the animal. We're looking at the little paragraph here called the magic. Call upon the releasing power of the Jaguar woman Ixchel. If it's E-Chel, I apologize. I'm just going to say Ix. When you are ready to let go of something, whether it is an excess of something, a bad habit, a disease, or old patterns, probably childhood patterns, Ixchel is a powerful discharging force For those who are getting ready for birth, she is a wise God and will assist you to have an easier birth. And it does say that. It's like clearing the way for something new to come in here. Now, if your decision is the most loving, wise thing that you can do is to walk away from this wounded child, I get they're offering the Ace of Cups. At least they're drinking from that cup themselves. With that Aries card there, this is somebody who is in and of themselves healing child dynamic, just because the Ace is the Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, the Ace of the 12 signs, if you will. So there is a real new beginning here with this person, and it feels like a willingness to do that. But if you're feeling Five of Pentacles here with the trickster on the inside, you may not be seeing that so clearly. Everybody fucks up. Everybody makes mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, so yes, they do. Your sister and your brother and your dad and mother too. Big people, small people, matter of fact, all people. Everyone makes mistakes, so why can't you? Comment if you know who sang that, because I'm Generation X and I'm sure the other generations are unfamiliar with that particular tune. Oh, bird. Last card down. How could I not, with the child archetype on the table? The Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn. The voices of the Ascended Masters of True Love. And I said this in the last reading, and I might say this from now on. They've already played the game. They've already done the path of true love. They're on the other side of that finish line. Go in here, try this. This is what worked for me. Look out, look out, look out. The homecoming queen's got a gun. No, sorry, I just Julie Browned us. Breathe. The 80s is coming back like a hailstorm in my third eye. Breathe. This feels good. As I call upon my beloved Ascended Masters on the path of true love, please, what is the perfect healing mantra for the Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading in this orphan child, wounded child relationship that needs to speak the language of love and do some release work here. There's shadow work here on the table, Lover's card, double whammy, Emperor, double whammy, Emperor and Empress on the table. Please, what is their best healing mantra on the path of true love in this soul contract? Acknowledging apprehension. I don't even need to read what's on the card. When it's a yes, nothing can stop me. If I'm unsure, it's always a no. And I add to that for now, right? Because I'm a Pisces moon. You totally get different guidance on this an hour from now, let alone a day from now, right? So for now, when it's a yes, nothing can stop me. When I'm unsure, it's always a no. I think that it's, again, this decision. It's a yes or no decision. Do I want to deal with this person or not? Am I done with this or not? I'm just kind of getting the vibe here that there's a releasing of a lot of emotional baggage from childhood, which, by the way, walking the path of true love, everybody's got to do that. It can be delayed, but not prevented. Otherwise, you're going to project your mother and your father, or lack thereof, of every person that crosses your path. We do it subconsciously. So sometimes these upsets, these Five of Cups, we get triggered, but somebody just tread on our own landmine that they didn't know was there and we didn't know was there. Particularly if it's a friend, right? But that's true. You know, we let our friends get away with things that our lovers would never be. Into the chokey. Giving me lots of childhood flashback memories. Oh, Trunchbull. Acknowledging apprehension, the very first card in the bookie book. When it's a yes, nothing can stop me. If I'm unsure, it's always a no, at least for now. And that is self-love, and that is self-respect. Nah, it doesn't feel right now, right? When apprehension is acknowledged, you become aware of a constant back and forth between polarities. What a shock in dualistic illusional reality. This, as this back and forth movement occurs, it can feel nearly impossible to make decisive, empowering choices, which is what we're looking at here with these Lover cards on the table. As you acknowledge any apprehension, recognize that it is either your heart trying to warn you of an old choice or pattern you're about to repeat, and that's valid, or it is a sense of unworthiness that makes you unsure about how to step onto the biggest stage you dream of commanding. And ain't that tricky, right? One polarity saying it's like you're about to, here's an opportunity for here for you to replay the past and to do it the same old way, an old pattern ruling you. Or it's like, here's an opportunity for you to really heal this, but, you know, it's terrifying. Both can be true. Again, general read. The power of discernment bubbles closer to the surface the more often your apprehensions are acknowledged. I'm feeling apprehensive about this now. Is not the right time to make this choice or decision. Doesn't feel right. I'm going to only go with the fear rather than the love here, the condemnation rather than the forgiveness, because I don't want to. Right? Your child stuff going on here, right? And to give that child the time and rest it needs, certainly. So acknowledging it allows your discernment to bubble to the surface, and it is needed to determine which of these two options is true. This mantra is ideal for resolving indecisiveness, balancing impulsive behaviors, which we do have that Two of Pentacles there at the end there, definitely a card of balance, and trusting your instincts. Trusting your instincts. That's what the orphan child develops on its own, because it doesn't have it, can't really rely upon anybody else. It's got to do this for itself. It's learning, it's growing, it's healing, it's becoming. And this is an amazing ass read. I'm sorry for whatever went on between the two of you here. Does feel like you had a Ten of Cups thing going on here. Again, that could be family member, not just lover. I could see this playing out with the lover. But what we're looking at here is the alchemy of the child, an orphan and a wounded child, moving from childish to childlike, right? Childish to childlike. Pee-wee, the scale from Pee-wee Herman to Dalai Lama, right? That innocence, that grace, that forgiveness, because there is a deeper understanding, because there's a power there of seeing something from the highest truth. Let me put it together for you in a little blessing. Shall we? Breathe. As I call upon my collective pantheons of the divine to please bless the Sagittarian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading with all that they need on the path of true love, that they may find their independence based on going it alone and conquering the fear of surviving. With this one crossing their path, may they awaken compassion and their desire to serve other wounded children, opening the learning path of forgiveness for themselves and for everyone else involved, as the Sagittarius does the shadow work. Feeling that Five of Pentacles, either leaving someone out in the cold or feeling left out in the cold. And this wounded child, really, sisters doing it for themselves, offering that cup of love with that Aries card inside of them, most likely to themselves, to give themselves their own healing that they need, and then maybe extend it to, if this is the Sag over here, to the orphan child. Because at the core here, there is a strong Emperor energy of really wanting to ground this, to make it practical, to govern this in a healthy way and bring that into physical form from the highest chakra down into the lowest, manifesting. Because behind the Sag here, we do have ecstasy, cups flowing over, a lot of good time, needle scratch with a Five of Cups experience on the outer. And now what hovers above the Sag is to get to the heart of the matter, of the pain of what's really going on inside of them, heart, throat, third eye, crown, but to be very, very aware of the overthinking, of the over-intellectualizing it, looking more towards the past than towards the present, in the present, towards the future, to open the heart, to balance that out, which feels like if they do that, they will get that emotional flow again, that Three of Cups, that bonding, that friendship, that we're all brothers and sisters of spirit, of the divine, and we're all working our way through that, and to make a wise, loving decision from that place, which very well might be our paths are crossed. They never cross again. I bless you and forgive you. I'm going to do me. Or we can work this out. We all fuck up. We all make mistakes, which comes as a result of them really learning their lesson here, seeing the highest possible lesson for themselves, and how this situation is actually here to serve them in some way and help them to become the Emperor, help them to become their own highest, at least at this chapter, masculine energy, divine masculine, how they are in the world, put themselves out in the world. Because how they're vibing is very secure within themselves. Nine of Pentacles, some solid, some self-worth, right? Knowing one's worth on the inside, but also a loyalty, a willingness to walk the path and maybe see into the future where this relationship might go. But their destiny depends on them making the most wise, loving, powerful decision they can about their past in general, which speaks to the child in both cases here. They might have a shared destiny in that sense, bringing them to at least the conclusion of this particular chapter of the contract with the Empress on the inner, Mawu, fertility, the wife, the mother, abundance, all the queens of the tarot as one. With this Two of Pentacles, perhaps the very apprehension that they need to acknowledge. But until that time, they can begin right now speaking the language of love. Loving words have the power to change someone's life, including their own, and well that they should start there with that orphan in their own hearts, or the wounded child, if that's who they are here, with that loving release of the Jaguar, to prepare for new birth, to release the old patterns, the old thoughts, so that they can start new again, and then, like they said, prepare for a birth. That birth of this relationship or a whole new self within the Sagittarius. Most importantly, though, that they acknowledge their own apprehension, that they really familiarize themselves with the skill that when it's a yes, nothing can stop them. But when they're unsure, it's always a now, at least for now, at least for today. They can come back later and try again, because every day is a winding road. We're all getting a little bit closer, and no one's given an instruction manual, particularly not a child. The child on the path of true love within all of us has to find its way to wisdom, to love, to power, because that's what it's about. True love, if anything, is that. Love, wisdom, and power as one, within our hearts, within our souls shining. So may they come to that place. May they do the healing that they need to do within themselves with that trickster card, the shadow work. May they become the Emperor and the Empress in balance within themselves, that they heal, grow, and become the best that they can be, fulfilling their role in the divine plan and thus healing everyone else just that little bit more on planet Earth. So mote it be. And so it is. Tricky read. Path of True Love reads are tricky. The path of true love is tricky. It ain't much of a hero's journey without demons and dragons and pitfalls online. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. So, did you like it? Then like it. Do you want more? Subscribe. You want a reading? You know how. That video is in the description box as well. And there's also a meditation to call forth your true lover in there as well. This could be romantic. It might not be. Feel free to comment should you feel like sharing. Otherwise, I'm getting ready for the next thing I do. I am teaching Path of True Love class tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, on the Drawing the Circle Productions Facebook page. It is now a non-sequential weekly class I will be doing ongoing. As I said, ongoing non-sequential, so it's not class 1, class 1, class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. It's we do what arises in that moment, and I made a video about that too that I put out before this one if you want to go check that out. Thank you so much for watching. Wish you all the very best, the very blessed on the path of true love, my beloved centaurs, kentors, archers, mutable fire. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.